so many people working from home because of the pandemic, we have certainly seen a significant drop in insurance claims, but at the same time, we're also seeing insurance premiums increase. How do we make sense of this? For that, Nainesh Kotak is joining us. He's the founder of Kotak Personal Injury Law. Nainesh, nice to be able to catch up with you on this topic. Most people would think that their insurance would go down. Tell us exactly what's happening and why.
Right. I mean, that would be the hope. However, if we look at the FSRA website, FSRA is the Financial Services Regulatory Authority of the province of Ontario. What we in fact see is, yes, at the beginning, there's articles where they promote there's been $1 billion of rebates, etc. You look further in the website and you'll see that in fact, since December of 2019 up to the middle of 2020, the average premium went up by $30. Now that may not look like much, but it adds up to just shy of $200 million if you count all the policies that we have in Ontario. And that, in fact, is with these supposed rebates that people are supposed to be getting. So why does this happen? Well, FSRA is mandated with the authority of reviewing and approving rate increases. Part of their mandate is to encourage transparency and good management of insurance. But unfortunately, we're not seeing this. And we want to look at this against the backdrop, really, as you said, of how few, and there's statistics on this that we can get from the MTO, and which I've been able to obtain, of significantly less accidents. If you could look at a comparable period after March of 2020 compared to the previous year. For example, in April, there was just over 4,800 collisions, 4,800 collisions compared to 14,166 in the same time last year. And this pattern continues. I think in July, there were still double collisions back in 2019 than there were in 2020. And this is unfortunate because you see there's a bit of secrecy and a lack of transparency in terms of how insurance companies report their profits and how, in fact, these rate increases continue to get approved year after year after year. In fact, for the 3 years prior to 2020 January, premiums have gone up by 20%. And you're talking a 3-year increase of 20%. But, Catherine, what you're also seeing, you buy a product. So when you buy an insurance policy, you have to have it. It's like a tax. It's a product. That product under the Wynne government, for example, was reduced, I think, was it 17 times in terms of what benefits you would get. So how does that translate? You're getting less coverage. You're paying more premiums. What does that mean? Of course, more profits. And, there was actually a study on this, Catherine. There's a professor, but it's really hard to analyze their data because they're not overly transparent, some of the insurance companies, or the whole industry, I would say, when it comes to auto itself. Professor Fred Lazar of York University Schulich School of Business prepared a report, and he said between 2011 up until the date of his report, so January, early 2020, Ontario residents have overpaid $5.6 billion in premiums compared to what should have been paid. And what this has done is resulted in a huge profit, and that profit allows insurance companies in Ontario to finance the rest of the country casualty component. So what we're missing here is transparency. That I would say is one of the big keys from here.
Well, it's astounding, though, to hear you say that rate increases have gone up by 20% over 3 years when, if you really think about it, we're living in a world of 2% plus growth. So you don't necessarily think
Absolutely.
of the insurance industry, and I know it's not the entire company, but for them to have a segment that's allowed not allowed, but kind of allowed to grow 20% is pretty astonishing. And also the fact that as individuals, we seem to have no control, because you're telling us that this organization that has to or is supposed to review sounds like is it a government or quasi-government institution, and who's in control of it? And why do we as individuals not have any say, again, to have increased costs and less coverage? How do we change this?
You're right, and this is unfortunate. Look, FSRA reports to the Minister of Finance. It is supposed to be an arm's length regulatory authority, so that there should not be political influence. That it's supposed to look at what's being asked by insurance companies in terms of the increase, look, analyze it, and do the approvals accordingly. Well, of course, FSRA is created, it's enacted through legislation created by the provincial government. So I suppose what individuals can do, obviously compare rates, look at different insurance companies, but also, talk to your MPPs, write to the Minister of Finance. Listen, we're tired of this. We're tired of our premiums going up. People are not on the road as much. There are people on the road, but the vast majority of office workers are at home. So you won't see the type of traffic, and statistics show you're not seeing the accident as you did before. Pressure needs to be put on the powers that be at Queen's Park to make change.
Okay, we got to leave it there. Great to speak with you today. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
That is Nainesh Kotak, of course. He's the founder of Kotak Personal Injury Law.